Well, in this first video, we're going to go over on-page SEO because before you start any kind of SEO campaign, of course, you want to make sure everything that's on your site is correct and giving you the best advantage. So we're going to talk about what you do on your website. Now, this is not as important as off-page SEO, which is mainly link building, but it is still critical because it's going to give you another boost. And it's really going to be the base for your SEO efforts. You know, if you have your on-page not optimized, it's really going to hurt your SEO campaign. So before we get into link building, you know, and driving links back to our site, we want to make sure the on-page SEO is up to par. So the first thing you want to do is whatever keyword you're trying to rank for, it's preferable to have that keyword in your domain. Of course, that's not always possible, and you can have a website that's targeting numerous keywords. So if you're making a separate page to target a keyword, then you want to try to have that keyword in your file name. Now, Google themselves have said this is important, to simply put whatever keyword you're trying to target for as a file name with hyphens between each word. So if you're trying to rank for, Labrador dog training, you want to have Labrador-dog-training as your file name. You also want to include your keyword in your title tag. Now, title tags, you want to stay below 70 characters. And when you're creating your title tag, you want to make sure your keyword is in the first part of the title tag. Now, I will say you don't necessarily want to have your title tag be just your keyword. Add some more relevant information in there because, of course, that's what visitors are going to see in the search engines. So when your site gets ranked, your title tag is going to be the hyperlink in the search engine. So you want to have your keyword in there, but you also want to make sure it entices people to click through, because it's no good being number one and having a title tag that makes no sense to the point, where nobody clicks through. So it's kind of a balance there between making sure your keyword's in there and also making sure that it entices visitors to click through to your website. You also want to make sure your keyword is in your H1 tag. That's very important as well. And you can also go ahead and put it in your description and keywords in your meta tags. Now the meta tags don't have nearly as much importance as they used to, but it's still a good idea to go ahead and put your keyword in there. The last thing you want to do, although, with your meta tags is to keyword stuff, because that can actually hurt you. There's no reason to do that. And also remember that your description, in most cases, is what will be also on your search engine ranking or your search engine listings. You want to make that to entice people to click through to your website again. When you're actually writing the content on your site, you want to write naturally. You don't want to stuff keywords in there where they don't really belong or they don't make sense. But it is a good idea to mix in your keyword in the first and last paragraph. Again, writing naturally. You don't want to stuff it in there. And if you have images on your page as well, you can include your keyword in the image alt tag. However, if the image you have on your website isn't related to your keyword, like maybe it's just an example you have on there, you don't want to be labeling or using the alt tag with your keyword for an image where it doesn't actually describe that. So if your page was Labrador dog training and you had a picture of a dog park, you don't want to go ahead and put Labrador dog training as the alt tag, because that doesn't make any sense. But if you have a picture of a dog being trained, then it makes perfect sense. So you have that option as well. And also internal linking. So when you're linking from one page on your site to another page on your site, go ahead and use an anchor or a keyword-rich anchor text for that link. Again, you don't want to just put click here or see this. Go ahead and use the keyword when you're linking to other pages on your site. It's just going to give you another link, also increase the relevancy of that page. So it is a good idea when you're internal linking to be using your keywords as well. When you're writing the content, a good keyword density to stick between is about 3 to 5%. Again, I'll repeat, you want to write naturally. On-page factors are not that important. So the last thing you want to do is overdo it, because that can actually hurt you. But again, sticking between 3 to 5% is usually a good amount to be in. Google tends to prefer a little longer content, so having 500 plus word articles on your site is also a good idea. I've seen plenty of examples of pages ranking with 50 words on them. I've seen a lot of examples of that. But over a large sample, you're going to see a lot of longer content ranking. So going 500 plus words is a great idea. When you're writing your content, if you're writing naturally, you should also be using related terms. Again, this shouldn't be something you have to force. If you're writing about a topic, you should be using other keywords in there or other related terms. A lot of times they're called LSI keywords. Again, just writing naturally, you'll tend to get all the related terms in there, but it is a good idea to make sure that you are getting those terms in there. Another factor a lot of people don't look into is how quickly your site loads. If you have a site that loads incredibly slow, it can definitely hurt your search engine ranking. You want to have a site that loads very fast. If you just go to Google and type in Google site load time, they have a tool you can use to kind of gauge how quickly your site loads. If it's loading very slow, it's something you want to look into and make sure you fix. You also want to make sure you're giving your user a good user experience. Google is they've really put more importance on this. You want to make sure your site is easy to navigate, easy to get from one section to another, not cluttered with advertisements. There's nothing wrong with having some ads on there, but if a lot of people used to go and they would put 2 big AdSense blocks above the fold, so when you came to that page, all you actually saw were AdSense ads, and that Google absolutely does not want to see that. So use ads very sparingly, especially in the beginning. You can you can kind of tweak it later on, but you do not want to have ads all over the place. You want to make sure the content is easy to find, easy to read, and again, just provides a good user experience. Another thing you want to monitor is your bounce rate. So how quickly somebody comes to your site and either closes the page or hits the back button. If you have a very high bounce rate, that meaning a lot of people are coming to your web page and then immediately leaving it, that will hurt your search engine ranking as well. The best way to combat this is just to have very good content, providing that good user experience, not just clustering the site with ads and pop-ups and all of that. Videos are great as well. Again, because they engage the visitor, they'll sit there and they'll watch the video for a couple minutes. And images are great as well. So the more variety of content you can put on there, the greater chance people are going to stick around for a while. But the number one way to do this, of course, is just to provide good content that gives the visitor what they want and what they came for. And lastly, what not to do. I mentioned this a little before, but you do not want to be using repetitive use of a keyword. No keyword stuffing. You should write naturally. Don't be forcing your keyword in there. Don't continue to use your keyword in every single image tag, on the page. You don't want to have your main keyword bold, italicized, underlined, kind of overdoing the optimization. Again, try to be as natural as possible. Like I said before, on-page SEO is not nearly as important as off-page, so the last thing you want to do is over-optimize the on-page stuff. You also never want to be using hidden text or text that is a different color or hard to see. Another big thing Google does not want to see. And lastly, you don't want to have duplicate content. Now, there's a lot of talk about duplicate content. When you have duplicate content on different sites, let's say you have one article and you publish it on several different sites, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not as big of an issue as having duplicate content on your site. So if you have numerous pages on your site with the exact same content, that can definitely hurt you. So all the content on every single page, you want that to be unique. You want every title tag on your site to be unique. Don't be reusing title tags. And the same goes for the description. You want unique description meta tags on each and every page. You never want to have repetitive use of any of those. So those are the main points of on-page SEO. Go ahead and take a look at your site, clean up any things you need to. We'll move on to off-page SEO.